YouTube here in just a second if all that works properly. And if I'm doing this right and all the microphones appear to be working, which they are, so no major problems with that, at least at this point. So let's go ahead and get this kicked into gear and move this along. So we'll go ahead and start streaming now. Yes, I do want to start the stream, and that should give us hopefully the countdown on the way. Looks like it is. And there we go. Okay, so that'll get things moving along here. And if you're on Twitch or YouTube, it takes a minute to get Facebook going here, so it takes a little bit of time to make sure that everything is where it needs to be. If you have questions, drop them into the comments section. We'd love to hear where you're from, what the weather is like, where you happen to be at. So go ahead and send those in to us. Drop them into the comments section, and we'll pay attention to that on there. Rest of the forecast, again, looks pretty good for the next couple of days. We'll give you an idea as to what's going on with that for the southeast Tennessee, north Georgia, and back into around northeast Alabama and extreme western North Carolina coming up here in just a little bit. So in the meantime, it is a quiet Monday. Looks like everything's fine. Too bad I left my tank of water on the other side of the studio, but that's okay because we'll just go ahead and get this taken care of. So off we go. Stand by, and where are we? We were right here. So let's start that over again. All right, that should do it. Okay, brand new work and or school week. It is Monday evening, the 11th of May. It is a quiet evening, thankfully. Had enough severe weather in the last couple of weeks to last us for a little while, so not really seeing too much of any major potential for thunderstorms coming up near the anytime soon. Some, yes, but not that much, and severe weather at this point really just not being seen at this time. I'm Chief Meteorologist Austen Onek. This is Weather Overtime. This is our online video weather blog, your opportunity as the viewers to keep an eye on what's going on with the weather forecast. We'll be glad to answer any questions that we possibly can, give you an idea as to what's going on with the weather situation across the area. Again, please drop your comments drop your questions, if you have any, into the comments section. We'll be glad to take a look and see what we can do to help you out with when it comes to the forecast on there. We'll take a look at the forecast for tomorrow as we go into our next potential game with the hometown Lookouts and the visiting team from Pensacola at the brand new Erlinger Park. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Plus, last week was Hurricane Preparedness Week. Want to make certain everybody's aware of all this unique and interesting information that can help you stay safe. It is the 11th of May. Pacific hurricane season begins in 4 days. So time to get ready for hurricanes and tropical storms on the West Coast. Yes, they can happen. Maybe they're not, again, a every day, every week thing, but that also, again, will give us the potential for making certain everybody stays safe. Now, hurricane season in the Atlantic, that starts at the end of the month, June 1st until December 1st, and it's expected to not be a huge potential for anything involving hurricanes, but it is still possible. So we'll talk more about that coming up in just a little while. Want to thank our sponsor again. We want to thank Epicos Comics, Cards, and Games for being our sponsor on Weather Overtime. Great to have you aboard. Nice to have a comic book shop as our sponsor. I'm a great comic book fan, sci-fi, fantasy, stuff like that. I needed to drop by and see if they have a replacement 100-sided die, and if there's a mathematician watching tonight, need to figure out a way to toss the dice and see what a good formula would be to use that for a forecast tool when it comes to rain, cloud cover, stuff like that. Because I have heard some people say that it's more accurate to toss dice and predict the weather than it is just to use the science of meteorology. So if that's the case, I'd love to find out. We've got the dice, we've got the time, we've got everything in the way of some great opportunities to learn. So let's go ahead and see what we can do about that. All right, let's go ahead and get into it for tonight. Excuse me. Don't really have, again, a lot going on, especially for tomorrow morning. So kids and teachers at the drive in from the car rider line want to make certain that you're bundled up in the morning, because we do have some cooler numbers out there back into the lower 50s. Will warm up very quickly through the rest of the day. I know we have field day activities. I know we're coming up on outdoor graduation season, so now would be the time to make certain that you pay attention to the weather forecast. It'll be very warm in the afternoon, not quite so warm in the morning, so be prepared for that little bit of a chill coming there. Rest of the day, heading outdoors, I think the only thing you're really going to need is the sunblock, because it'll be plenty of sunshine, so the UV radiation levels will be much higher tomorrow, back to about a 9. And that, again, if you're going to be spending any time outdoors, you really have to pay attention to that. Let's protect your skin and make sure you don't get too bad of a sunburn, because that can lead to a lot of health problems down the line if you're not taking care of that. So something to think about there. Rest of the evening, again, not that much going on. It's quiet downtown. Traffic on Highway 27 is moving along nicely. You can see the lights of Lookout Mountain back up to just around the Ruby Falls area and close to the News 12 viewing area, and back toward Erlinger Park. It is, again, very much on the quiet side for now, so not seeing a lot of problems, again, where rain or thunderstorms are concerned at this time. I want to take a look real quick at 2475. That's the 1% List Scenic City camera. This is the Plainview Outdoor Advertising camera. All of our cameras available on the EPB Fiber Optics WeatherCam network page. So if you have the opportunity to stop by and take a look at our various cameras, please do so. Traffic is very light at this location, and hopefully, again, should be staying that way for into tonight. Temperatures are back in the mid-60s, so we do have some very quiet conditions across much of the area. Jacket would come in handy over the next couple of hours, but no sign of anything involving rainfall across the area, so good news on that. Pollen levels are really not that much to be concerned about for right now. We did have a bit of an increase in the tree pollen. That's up to about a moderate, but it's about where it was last week, so there really is not too much of a major change in the air quality levels out there. So good news again on that. Now, air quality overall, that also is at a green or good level from earlier this evening. 38 was the number, and overall the main problem we've got is from particle pollution, 2.5 microns. That's smoke, soot, and exhaust. So that is up a little higher today than what it has been. Ozone gas also a little higher, back to about a 36, but again, everything falling within the green or good category. So overall, things are looking pretty good out there, not like the code red we had just a few weeks ago. So good news again on that for tonight. Not really too much going on. We have high pressure and control from the Great Lakes down to the Rio Grande, and we have also, and this is really interesting to take a look at, we've got numerous storm systems going way back over to portions of Canada, into and around the area of the northern Pacific. Numerous storm systems lined up and ready to go. You can count 4 or 5 of them on here in just this particular view. Now, the next storm system that comes in from out of the Yukon and the Northwest Territories, that will be dropping our direction, and that could be giving us our next system as we go into Saturday. I say could be because it is decently far away, so we do have the potential for a lot of change between here and there. So something to watch out for in the course of the next several days as conditions change. Now, if everything lines up, we might see some rainfall out of this, but it really just kind of depends on what happens between here and there. That's why you have to check the forecast so often to make sure that you're up to date with what is going on. You can't check the forecast on Sunday evening and expect it to be the same by Friday morning next. So that's important to remember. Back tomorrow, we'll be seeing those high pressure areas stick around. The next front on its way from Tuesday into Wednesday north of us, but it's going to be surrounded by very dry air. So as this front comes through, we might see a little cooler air coming in. behind that back to the north. But really, that's about all that we have to speak of at this point. That will keep us dry and calm and quiet, so there's really just not that much actually happening for tonight or for the next couple of days. Now, looking back a little farther to the west, that is where we see the best potential of anything really starting to happen, and that's with that system way back into the plain states, which is going to start digging a little further down to the south, and as it does, again, that will be our next potential for getting anything through here. It's going to take a while for that system to get organized, kind of get stuck over the high plains, and then it starts making its way toward us. But that's going to take a while, better part of the rest of the week, actually, for that to happen. Mid to high 40s to lower 50s for northeast Alabama tonight. North central Georgia, cooler in those higher elevations, back in the high 40s to lower 50s. Lower 50s for much of northwest Georgia into this evening. Coldest numbers in western North Carolina. You'll be back into the mid to high 40s. So the coldest numbers east of Chattanooga in those higher elevations. And parts of eastern Tennessee around I-75 and toward the North Carolina line. That will be the chill out there. And then River Valley, Plateau, and anything back into the Tennessee River Valley to the west of that, high 40s to around low 50s. So call it comfortable. On the cool side, you are probably going to need something in the way of a jacket or a coat to make certain that you are warding off that chill, especially into the morning. So definitely something to check on there. This is an important number to take a look at because this marks the change very soon of a new season coming our way. The hurricane season for the Atlantic is not expected to be quite as bad because of the developing what could be a super El Nino in parts of the Pacific. That's the warming of the waters, which the heat of those waters can cause a big pressure change above the waters, and that can deflect or even destroy storm systems that are heading one direction or the other. Now, when El Nino is the warming of the waters is very strong, that usually means in the Atlantic, a continent and an ocean away, that Atlantic hurricane season will be a little less than what it could be. And that's what we're aiming for right now. But in some ways, this is uncharted territory because we have not seen an El Nino this strong in quite some time. So what that El Nino, that possible super El Nino does to the Atlantic hurricane season, we're still in kind of the waiting period beforehand. We won't know too much until about late May, early June when the season gets going. So that's important. Now, the opposite of that from El Nino is La Nina, and that is where the ocean waters cool in the eastern Pacific. That also has an effect on the Atlantic and what can be a busy hurricane season. Either way, 20 days until the start of hurricane season in the Atlantic, the Gulf, and the Caribbean. The Pacific hurricane season starts in just 4 days. It starts on the 15th of May. So whatever coastline you're heading towards, you want to be weather aware. If a storm warning is issued, if it looks like a storm is heading your direction, time to get out of there just to be on the safe side. You don't want to be stuck someplace with a storm bearing down on your area and you stuck because you waited too long. You really want to heed the authorities and get out of the way of that storm. Now, to that end, this is a great opportunity to where you can learn more about how to protect yourself when it comes to storms like this. Last week was National Hurricane Preparedness Week. It's over with for now, but you can go to their website from NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, noaa.gov/hurricane-prep, and learn all about what to do before, during, and after storms move through a particular location. This is important because, again, when you're heading to the beach, being weather aware is number one. Being able to get out of the way of these storms is a very close second, because you do not want to stay and say, oh, I'll risk it. The best thing you can possibly do is get out of the way of these storms. Get yourself out, your family out. Do your best to get out as soon as possible. monitor the weather, be weather aware, keep an eye on what's going on. Again, the hurricane season in the Atlantic goes from June 1st to December 1st, so we have a long way to go before we get to the end of the season. So time to prepare yourself and to be weather aware. Now, learning more about weather, this is the final couple of weeks for Weather 101, the weather education webinar, free from the National Weather Service in Nashville. All you do is show up and take the course. You get the opportunity to learn all sorts of about everything going on out there, and that really is going to help you when it comes to learning about what's happening with the weather, and that can really do a good job of really keeping you up to date on what is happening out across portions of the area. So if you do have that opportunity, please get that information. It's very cool to take a look at. All you do is go to weather.gov/OHX, and you can learn more about what's going on with the weather. The next topic will not be coming up until Wednesday morning, and because this is National Weather Service Nashville, this is going to be held in the Central Time Zone. So this will be 10 a.m. Central Time. The topic is going to be about lightning, one of my favorite topics. So if you have the opportunity to learn more, or if you want to learn more, hey, great. Stop on by and get some more information. You can go to weather.gov/OHX and get more details about what's going on with the weather. The spring semester, as I said, is almost over with, so you'll have to wait until autumn to take a look and see what is going to be on the next slate of topics for the late fall, early winter type season. Weather view from Island Cove Marina and Resorts. Have a little bit of wobble in the waves for tonight as we have a pretty healthy northeasterly breeze going on. So for the next few days, this is what we are looking at with temperatures back in the lower 80s at first. The first storm system, the smaller and weaker and drier one, moves in Wednesday night into Thursday. That one passes through, drops our temperatures by just a little bit, not by much, but just a little bit. And then after that, before the next systems, plural, roll through Saturday night and again on Monday evening, that is where the numbers really take off. So if you are a summer fan, temperature-wise, and not a winter or spring fan, well, your wish is about to come true because we're going to be back into the 90s. I'll have to double-check the almanac page because I'm not sure we've made 90 just yet this year, but if everything works, coming up Sunday into Monday, that is where we will see the best potential for more rain coming our direction and also the potential of some thunderstorms. Now notice on here there is no indication of any severe weather taking place, so very good news on that. But at this time of the year, even though we peaked in April and we're coming down off that peak into May, we're approaching the summer doldrums around here where not much goes on between May and give or take about early October. It is necessary for us to make certain that we're paying attention to the weather because severe weather can develop if all the conditions are right. So that is something that we really do need to pay attention to. So please keep it tuned to News 12 and we'll keep you updated on that. Game time is a little early coming up on Tuesday. Erlinger Park downtown. You'll get to see the Lookouts take on the visiting Pensacola Blue Wahoos at Erlinger Park, but first pitch is at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're going to get downtown, that is where you're going to be. Usually they're 6:30 or 7, but in this case they're going to be at about 6 o'clock. Temperatures tomorrow will be beautiful, no question about it. Just perfect for baseball weather. And at the bottom of your screen, again, the potential of a rain delay not happening tomorrow and pretty much through the course of the next several days afterwards. So short sleeve weather at the ballpark, but cooling off as you go toward those final innings. Good luck to both teams. Good to see baseball back in downtown Chattanooga. Tomorrow also, this is really cool. The theme for the night, the celebration, the promotion is Mental Health Awareness Night. That is something that I'm very glad to see being promoted in the community, something that needs to be talked about. The stigma about talking about mental health and mental health awareness really needs to be stomped out to where we talk more about what good mental health is and how we can make certain everybody is able to have good mental health care. So that is really good to see the lookouts doing that. Nice to be able to see us talking about more about these things. If you would like to pitch in and help clean up, local group could use your help. It's mywaterways.org. The Ocoee River channels trash, unfortunately, just like every other river does. And with a lot of tourism along the river, unfortunately, a lot of garbage gets swept along into the water. So cleaning that up is an important thing. So starting at Rogers Branch Put-In at 9 a.m. on May 22nd. If you would like to help My Waterways and several sponsor businesses get your hands dirty and think global but acting local, that's going to be a great opportunity to help out a local waterway stay just that much more cleaner. Maybe it's not your trash, but it is your opportunity to help improve the environment around here, one piece of trash at a time. So if you have the opportunity to volunteer, please think about it. And again, go to mywaterways.org if you would like to know more about what's going on there. So good opportunity again to learn a lot more about that. That should just about do it for tonight. We've been on for about 20 minutes. We don't really have a great deal going on. It's dry, it's quiet, it's very nice across the area for tonight. Again, hopefully it stays that way, but again, for this evening, really just not really looking at too much of anything in the way of major change. We'll monitor those storm systems coming our direction in the next couple of days, but by the end of the week, we'll know more about what the weekend looks like. Getting into outdoor graduation season, something to really pay attention to out there. Everybody needs to keep track of what's going on where it comes to the weather. Once again, thanking our sponsor, Epicos Comics, Cards, and Games. You can head to their website to find out more details about what they have available, special promotions. We just went through Free Comic Book Day about a week or so ago on Saturday, so great opportunity to support your local comic book store. If you'd like to follow along, follow us on Facebook, on our YouTube channel, and I'm on Twitch as well if you'd like to watch on there. All of this will be repeated on our website at WDEF.com/weather, and that's where you can get a hold of us as well. If you have a question or anything, you can reach me through these social media pages or at my email address down in the blue bar, aonek@WDEF.com. Questions, concerns, suggestions for what we can feature here that you would like to see. Complaints, if you absolutely must. That, again, we're here because of you, the viewers, so we can tell you more about what's going on. So if there's something you'd like to see, please let us know, and we'll do our best to feature it on there. That should do it for tonight. Chip Chapman has your forecast bright and early on Tuesday morning, starting at 5 a.m., or if you can't watch on air, you can watch online at WDEF.com. Find out more on our webpage there. Thanks for joining us for Monday evening's Weather Overtime. Stay tuned for more with News 12.